As a public defender, Judge Karen fought for her client's rights. She was elected to the bench because she believes in doing the right thing.
I'm very passionate about helping people, period. But at what point are you gonna resolve the resentment? At some point, you need to be the one going through something.
Objective, independent justice.
You can always turn your life around. If you keep walking, you can overcome whatever circumstances you're facing.
This is Supreme Justice with Judge Karen. Event space owner Yolanda Burris is suing Agnes King in the amount of $600. Ms. Burris claims she rented out her property for a birthday party and says the defendant's guests clogged up her plumbing. Ms. King is countersuing for $500.
All right, Ms. Burris, you are suing for $600, which represents property damage at your home. Is that right?
Yes, Your Honor.
And Ms. King, you're countersuing for $500, which represents a security deposit. Is that right?
Yes, Your Honor, that's correct.
So I've read your pleadings. I understand, Ms. Burris, that you rent out your house for photo shoots and other events?
Yes, birthday parties, graduations. I have a big yard. It holds about 200 or 300 people.
Okay.
You can stand
You also
front.
live in this house?
I live in the home as well, but
Okay.
I recently retired. So this is like, I love entertaining. So this house was perfect for that. I rent out the yard. They can bring their own tables and chairs.
How long you been doing this?
I've been doing it for like the last year.
Okay, all right. So how'd you find out about Ms. Burris, Ms. King?
I found her on social media. When I went out there, I fell in love with the property.
So what type of event it was that you were planning?
It's monumental. I call it a celebration of life. It's something my mother had, a legacy she wanted us to do.
What was that? What is that?
50. I was celebrating my 50th birthday.
Okay.
And my mom always said, instead of waiting until someone passed away, we're going to do it while we're alive.
Okay.
And that was the first annual event that we planned.
Okay, just celebrating life as much as you
Exactly.
can, right?
Exactly.
I celebrate all my birthdays for
Exactly.
months. So you thought, so how many people were you planning to
I
have?
invited 100.
100 people, okay. So when she came out to meet you, do you have a contract?
I do have a contract.
All right, let me take a look at the contract. And what was your arrangement with her?
So the contract was for
Right.
8 hours. It was $3,000.
Okay.
In addition to that, a $500 refundable deposit if there was no damages
It was
Okay.
after the event.
Okay.
Miss Agnes came out to the
Okay.
property. She looked around, she saw it, she fell in love with the property. I have pictures of the property because I have palm trees.
Let me see the property.
I have palm trees sit out there. We have it's just so nice. It's a pool, a pond.
Okay.
It's just a beautiful property for having
How
an
often
event.
is this rented out? Oh,
I
it's
try to rent it out
gorgeous.
at least monthly.
You just got it.
I know I've had it over a year.
Y'all talking to each other? Or are you talking to me? You want to go outside and talk to each other, see if y'all can work it out?
No.
We-
Okay,
obviously we
otherwise
can't.
all comments are directed to me. Okay?
So it's a really great place to have an event, graduations, your birthday.
How many events have you had here so far?
I've had 5 there so far.
Okay, including her event, Ms. King's
Her event made 6.
was 6. Okay, looks like a nice place.
It is a very nice place to have it. The yard is, you can have the front yard and the backyard. And what sets my venue apart from others, I use trailer restrooms, not just like a regular porta potty.
Right.
So I have trailer restrooms that are,
Right.
they're, a little upscale.
No, I know them. I've
So-
done them at my parties.
Right. So,
Right.
you don't want just a typical porta potty.
Right.
So that's what she really loved about it. You would get 4, she was going to get 4 trailer restrooms.
I don't see anything about that in this contract.
Well, we discussed that. It should be in there. But that was on the contract that she would get 4 restrooms.
Okay, I don't see that on here.
It may not be on there, but we talked about
Y'all
it.
agree that you agreed that there was a
Definitely.
verbal agreement?
That was a verbal agreement.
Ma'am, you agreed that she was going to provide you with these luxury porta
4 of
potties?
them,
4 of
definitely.
those. Now, when you supply these, you supply these for each one of these outdoor rentals.
Yes, I
your
use
property.
a vendor. I use a vendor.
You don't want people using your bathrooms in
I
your
do
house.
not want them in my house.
Okay.
They can use the den.
Right.
And it looks outside to the
Right.
patio,
but,
to the
but
outside.
the bathrooms are supposed to be these 4 luxury porta potties.
Yes, yes.
What happened?
So about 48 hours prior to her birthday event on the 13th, on the 11th, the vendor called me and said that he was having problems with 2 of the trailer potties and that he only could give me 2. that there was something going wrong. There was some kind of mechanics wrong with the
As
tube.
opposed to 4?
As opposed to 4.
Okay.
So at that point, I asked him, did he check around? Have he called
Did
all
you
over?
call around to find 4?
Oh, I called around as well.
And so you couldn't find 4?
I couldn't find nothing but a regular porta potty.
Did you tell Miss King about it?
I ended up calling Miss King, and I told her that I only could get 2, but what if she wanted to, she could change her date. Or what I could do is I would let her use my guest bathroom for one, and I have a bathroom in my office.
Okay, so what did you think about that?
I thought it was a horrible idea.
Why?
The reason I chose her is because she promised me the 4 mobile restrooms. I thought that was key, the luxury, that was the seller for me.
Right.
And I didn't want to use her bathroom. I didn't want 100 of my guests using her bathroom.
Right.
Coming up on Supreme Justice.
Did you put up a sign?
I did put a sign saying.
Where's the sign?
I didn't bring, did you have pictures? I didn't bring a picture of the sign.
Wait. You don't have to answer that because I didn't ask you the question. You brought the lawsuit. The burden is on you with the evidence.
And later.
I called the
Who
exterminator
exterminated your house?
and his house.
Well, how would they have had the authority to exterminate his house?
Your Honor, she did it without my consent.
Closed captioning provided by. Supreme Justice is back with the case of Yolanda Burris, who is suing Agnes King for property damage.
I don't see what you were providing her other than what you're telling me verbally about the whole facilities.
Right.
You know, there were going to be these luxury toilets. I know what they're like. They're they're very nice.
They're very nice.
But you didn't provide them. And 48 hours beforehand, you call her and tell her that you could use 2 of the bathrooms in my house.
Yes.
Or cancel your event and reschedule it. I mean, who wants to do that 48 hours ahead of time? So you chose to.
Yes, I have pictures if you want to see what she promised me versus what she tried to offer me.
Thank you.
The last picture is what she tried to offer me, and she said it was pink, so I may like it. A pink porta toilet versus the luxury.
You got the 2 luxury ones.
I did, instead of 4. I didn't want the blue one.
Right.
And the 2 in my home, and I have a picture of the guest.
Let me see the ones in the house.
That's one of the guest rooms.
Okay. All right. That looks like a nice bathroom.
Yes, it's very nice.
Okay, but one thing though, those porta potties are capable of handling a lot of activity.
Exactly.
That is true.
Unlike your house, because commercial toilets and portable toilets, I can't believe this is what we talk about here, are used to handling several flushes. They can take several flushes. Most home toilets cannot take the volume of flushes that you're going to get with a bunch of people.
That's true, and I did explain to her that she could use the home toilets,
right?
But they could not use any paper towel or any foreign objects could not go down, only toilet tissue.
How was she supposed to let everybody know this?
Well, we were going to have a sign put up.
Did you put up a sign?
I did put a sign saying.
Where's the sign? Or pictures of the sign?
I didn't bring, did you have pictures? I didn't bring a picture of the sign.
Wait, you don't have to answer that because I didn't ask you the question. You brought the lawsuit. The burden is on you with the evidence. Do you have a picture of the sign?
I do not have a picture of the sign, but Miss Agnes will agree that there was signs.
Do you agree that there were signs?
There were signs.
Okay, where were the signs?
The signs were on the door when you first enter the restroom.
What did the sign say?
The sign said, do not flush, do not use paper towels, any foreign object, or flushable wipes. Because even though they say flushable wipes,
they're not flushable.
They do not. They're not flushable.
My plumber told me that.
Right.
So let's get to the night of the event. How was the party?
We enjoyed it.
You had a great time?
I did have a wonderful time.
No problems at all?
No, ma'am.
Okay. And then what happened then?
So 2 days later, and because I don't really use the guest room, the guest restroom, I went down and I started flushing. It was going a little slow.
Right. You had 2 bathrooms that you allowed
I had 2,
them to
but
use.
I feel like they used the guest restroom more than the office.
Okay. Well, it was easier to get to.
It was easier to get to. It was right off the den. It was right there. So they used that.
Right.
I walked around. I started flushing.
Well, isn't there cleanup and stuff after these parties?
There's cleanup.
Who's the cleanup crew?
Well, they clean up.
We did
it was all included.
Oh, you have to do the own cleaning.
Yeah.
So you don't have a cleaning fee here?
No, everything was included in that $3,000.
Wait, either she paid for a cleaning crew that was included in $3,000, or she paid you $3,000 and they were supposed to clean it up?
She paid $3,000 and a $500 a refundable fee if everything is fine, like nothing is broke.
Who cleaned up at that?
My group cleaned up.
Okay, so you had people to clean up after your party?
I did.
They did.
Never heard of that before. Okay.
When I was flushing the toilet, it was going really slow.
Right.
The water was going slow, so I started pouring Drano.
Well, what was going on between? You don't put Drano in it. What was going on between Saturday night and Monday? Who was in the house?
Well, Saturday night, the party was over about, they left about 10, 11.
Who else lives in the house?
Me and my husband.
Okay, just the two of you?
Just the two of us.
Okay, so nobody else was there between Saturday night
and
Monday when you go and check, and then what happened?
So then the toilet was flushing slow, so I called out a plumber to see what the issue may be. The plumber came out, and he ran his test.
Okay, is he here to testify?
But he took pictures, and he told me what happened.
Okay, I'm only going to look at pictures. I cannot hear anything he told you.
Okay, I have pictures.
Let me see pictures.
And Your Honor, we didn't do all of that in 4 hours.
I don't know what this is. I don't know what that is. This is it.
That's it.
Okay, well.
And the bill.
Okay, well, this is a court of law. It's about evidence, and your claim is that there were items found inside of your drain that you believe, or your plumber believed, came from this party. But I needed to hear from the plumber. Because it's your case, you brought it, you should have brought him as a witness. Don't Your Honor me. If he's here, I'll hear from him. Is he outside?
He's not here.
Okay, so there's that. Let's talk about the counterclaim.
Yes, ma'am. I feel like it's
well,
not...
wait a second. So as a result of paying this plumber, you paid him $1,100?
Yes.
I understood in your pleadings that you kept her security deposit. Is that right?
I did.
And then, so you're suing for the difference between the plumber's bill?
Yes, the $600.
And the
deposit.
The deposit. Okay, your counterclaim?
I feel I deserve my $500 back. I don't know how old these pipes are. I don't know if there are tree limbs in the pipes. I don't know what happened. And I just feel like it's not our responsibility to pay for her plumbing problems.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't think that you have carried the burden of proof in your case, ma'am, so I'm going to find input in favor of the defendant in the amount of $500. Good luck to you both.
All rise.
Judge Karen has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff has been ordered to pay $500.
Judge Karen was very fair. She saw right through that charade of trying to get me to pay for her pipes.
I disagree with the verdict. The defendant knew not to bring paper towel and flush down my toilet.
Coming up.
I really tried to be friendly, a friendly neighbor. I brought over a pie. I went into his home at his invitation, and it was chilling. He's a hoarder, and I had to leave the house as soon as possible.
Closed captioning provided by Alicia Bergquist is suing her neighbor, Nelson Sampson, in the amount of $450. Ms. Bergquist claims Mr. Sampson filled his front yard with furniture and old pizza boxes and says his hoarding brought rats to the neighborhood.
Ms. Bergquist, you're suing Mr. Sampson for $450, which represents money you spent for an exterminator?
Yes, Your Honor, that's correct.
Okay, and he's your neighbor?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, how long have you lived in the neighborhood?
I lived in the neighborhood for 8 years, Your Honor.
Okay, and how about you?
I lived there for 6 years, Your Honor.
Okay, so what was your relationship like during those 6 to 8 years?
You know, when I first moved in, I really tried to be friendly, a friendly neighbor. I brought over a pie.
He's next door?
He was next door.
Okay.
We live in San Diego. The houses are very close together. I wanted to be kind and be friendly.
Okay.
I went into his home at his invitation, and it was chilling. He's a hoarder, and I had to leave the house as soon as possible.
Okay. You mean when you first moved in 6 years ago?
When I first moved in 6 years ago,
right.
yes. Everything was inside the home. I couldn't see anything from the outside.
Right.
It didn't prohibit me from moving there.
Mr. Sampson, you live alone?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and she called you a hoarder. Well, no hoarder ever calls themselves that. But
No,
do you
Your
think that could be true?
No, Your Honor.
You don't have a hard time letting go of stuff?
Your Honor, I'm a collector.
What do you collect?
I collect things that hold powerful memories that has been happening throughout my whole life.
Like what?
Like furniture.
Okay, like what piece of furniture is holding a powerful memory for you?
Like my parents' furniture, for example.
I understand you lost your parents.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, and you were an only child? You are an only child?
Yes, Your Honor. I'm an only child.
So what happened once he lost his parents?
He lost his parents, and in May of that year, all of the belongings were delivered to his front yard after he sold the house.
Everything in the parents' house?
Everything from the parents' house.
How much?
Delivered.
Like what? What
well, I have some evidence if I can give that to you, Your Honor.
What was brought over to your house from your parents' house?
It was everything, all the furniture from my parents' home, and it moved into the front yard of my house, Your Honor.
coming up.
I hired an exterminator to take care of the rats that started appearing in our front yard.
Right.
Because he would sit out front and eat pizza on his parents' couch.
Right.
Closed captioning provided by Supreme Justice is back with the case of Alicia Berquist, who is suing Nelson Sampson for extermination fees.
Does this represent what the yard looked like when they brought your parents' stuff over?
Yes, Your Honor.
At the time, yes, Your
Right.
Honor.
How does this pay respect to their memory to have this stuff that you say with hold such memories just strewn across the front yard like that?
Because, Your Honor, I was dealing with the mourning of my parents.
Right.
And my neighbor and I, we did had a talk, and I did told
Right.
her that I was going to take care of it.
All right, so how did we get here in court?
We got here because I hired an exterminator to take care of the rats that started appearing in our front yard.
Right.
Because he would sit out front and eat pizza on his parents' couch.
Right.
And leave the boxes full of leftover pizza.
Right.
And the
Well,
rats,
how do you know? Did you go over there and look to see what was in the boxes?
our houses are super close
Well,
together.
they're not
He'd leave
that
them
close in the
open.
picture. No, between the couch and the next house, there's a carport here.
But I'm on the other side, Your Honor.
Uh-huh.
And what
Well,
you
but the
can't-
couch is over here on this side.
No, it's on there's another one on the other side that you
So
can't
there's
see.
another, well, did you bring me a picture of that?
I didn't bring a picture of that, Your Honor.
So that was somewhere on the other side. So
Yes,
is that
so-
true what she's telling me? That you would sit out in the yard and eat pizza and leave uneaten pizza?
I was eating pizza, yes, on furniture because it's the last memory that I have of my parents. And at that
That you were
time,
eating pizza at their house or something?
yes, Your Honor.
So you called an exterminator.
I called the
Who
exterminator
exterminated your house?
and his house.
Well, how would they have had the authority to exterminate his house?
Your Honor, she did it without my consent or my permission.
Did
I
you see it?
asked-
Like, excuse me, did you see it happening?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you ask permission to enter his property?
The night before, I
Uh-huh.
left him a message
Right.
telling him
Did you
after-
ask and obtain permission from him to have an exterminator enter his property?
It's very difficult
Yes
to
and
get.
no. Did you ask? So you did not. You didn't have a right to do this.
Judge Karen's verdict when Supreme Justice returns. Promotional consideration provided by
I can't imagine an extermination company that would have come out and gone to somebody else's property to exterminate without getting that person's permission. So, basically you gave him a gift. So how's your life going now?
My life is going a little bit better, Your Honor.
Because as devastating as that was, and I could not even imagine what it would be like to lose both my parents that way. Life goes on, you can't die with them. You're still here breathing and living, but not really living, just breathing. You need to start living. I'm going to be praying for you because I think that there's a lot of life out there for you, and I'd like to see you grab it.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right? Good luck to you. All right? Case dismissed.
Judge Karen has ruled in favor of the defendant. The plaintiff's claim has been dismissed.
Be kind to people because you don't know what they're dealing with mentally and physically.
I just think that a neighbor's job is to keep their business in their house and not let it bleed out into the yard.